catch up. So welcome everybody to our May Southwest Riverside County Military Affairs Committee meeting. I am Hilder Sam, and my counterpart Mike is out on paternity leave. So we're all very happy for him. Also see the baby. So he'll be back in the next week or two, I think. I guess we'll see. So we're just gonna go around the room real quick and introduce ourselves, and then we'll get some updates and dive right into General Melissa Coburn's presentation, which we're very excited to hear about. So, like I said, I'm Hilder Sam. I am with the Southwest Riverside County Military Affairs Committee, also the Marietta-Wildomar Chamber of Commerce. And next up is my friend and coworker, Heather.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. I'm Heather. I'm with the Marietta-Wildomar Chamber of Commerce and Impact Southwest Riverside County.
And next up, I have somebody on the phone. I'm not sure who is calling in. 9947 number. No? Okay. Let's go with Troy.
Hey, Troy Clark with Naval Surface Warfare Center Corona and the Inland Empire Tech Bridge.
Thank you for being here, Troy.
Glad to be here.
Looks like,
yeah,
there you are.
This is JJ Gamlin dialing in.
Hey.
So JJ, I represent Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton and Marine Corps Installations West.
Thank you, JJ. Greg Thomas.
Good afternoon, all. General Greg Thomas, General Manager for Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District and a retired Marine.
Thank you, Greg. And we got Kim Yela.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim with the Marietta-Wildomar Chamber.
And we got General Melissa Coburn.
Hi, I'm Melissa Coburn. I am the commander at March Air Reserve Base.
Thank you for being here today. Linda Wells.
Hi, I'm Linda. I'm the operations chief for the March Air Reserve Base Public Affairs Office.
Thank you for being here, Linda. And Michelle Tapscott.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle. I'm the community engagement chief at March Air Reserve Base Public Affairs Office.
Happy to see you, Michelle. Ann Peterson.
Hi, Ann Peterson. I'm a commercial business agent at Stromso Insurance, and I'm also a tech sergeant for the Air National Guard.
Thanks, Ann. Miguel Aranda.
Hi, I'm Miguel Aranda from Brandman University, and I'm the supervisor at the local campus here we're on MSJC's Menifee campus. Good to see you all today. Sorry, I can't get the words out.
Good to see you, Miguel. Thanks for being here. And we got Patrick Ellis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Patrick Ellis, President and CEO of the Marietta-Wildomar Chamber of Commerce. Glad to see everyone today.
Last but not least, Raven.
Hi, everybody. Raven Hilden with MilVet, supporting our veterans locally and deployed troops worldwide. Glad to be here.
Thank you for being here, Raven. All right, so how about we get some updates from JJ? Paging John Campbell. Are you there, JJ? Oh, sounds like he is having a little bit of trouble. I would also be remiss if I didn't thank our wonderful sponsors for the Military Affairs Committee. Without them, we would not be able to do these meetings or do any of the things for the local veteran community. So we have Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, which Greg here represents. We got Temecula Valley Hospital, Anderson Chevrolet, Modern Lending, Pechanga, Julie Knows State Farm Agency, and Polito Cleaning and Restoration. And we are very grateful to them for supporting our efforts. And looks like JJ is unmuted.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm here.
awesome. You want to give us a little update?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Quick updates for Camp Pendleton. Our Commanding General, Brigadier General Conley, is going to be giving up command on the 23rd of June, and he'll be taking over Marine Corps Installations Command back in DC, which is worldwide. So looking forward to seeing him take that next position. We also have our annual wildland firefighting school aboard Camp Pendleton, which is going to kick off the week of 6 June. And so that really is an opportunity for all surrounding communities to send their fire departments aboard and interact with the base and then with CAL FIRE and do a number of wildland firefighting exercises, command and control type things, but then also I'm not going to say we're going to light a fire in Camp Pendleton, but they will have a fire aboard Camp Pendleton, and they'll walk through techniques on how to put that out. So it's a pretty big event. So if you see smoke, second week of June there, it's intentional, and all the fire departments and the surrounding communities will be participating in that. That's all from Camp Pendleton for this morning.
Thank you. I am definitely going to try to remember not to panic when I see the smoke second week of June. Thank you so much for being here, JJ. So next up, we're a little ahead of schedule actually, but let's just dive into, if General Coburn is ready, we can dive into her presentation. I have it up here. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see it. And here we go. Take it away.
Alrighty. Well, thank you all. First of all, thank you for having me. It is good to see everyone. I do look forward to seeing everyone back in person. We were just chatting before we all came online, and we are starting to open up the base for some visitors. We had a couple rounds of leadership visitation the past couple weeks, so hopefully we can get you all out back to the base as things start getting back to normal. And then just thank you for your support. We'll see in the slideshow that the community support that we get at March is probably one of the highlights of my time here, which is coming up on 4 years. And certainly, you know, we have the immediate communities around March that are obviously very interested for economic and military reasons, but I've lived in Temecula all 4 years that I've been here, so it's awesome to have support from my local community as well, from where I live. So with that, maybe a couple of you all have seen this presentation, hopefully not. We've updated it a little bit, and it's just kind of a brief overview of what our mission is at March. If you have seen it, hopefully you'll have some good questions for me at the end. Slide, please. So here's what we're going to talk about. Obviously, March is a very historic base. We'll just get into that briefly because you guys have been here longer than me. You could probably tell me things about March and its history there, but we'll talk about it briefly because there's some things I'm exceptionally proud of. And then we'll talk about my wing, the 452nd Air Mobility Wing. So I'm the wing commander of the 452nd Air Mobility Wing, and I'm the overall installation commander. And I just would like to highlight some of the things we do in the 452nd. We'll talk briefly about the partner units I have on the base, which I've got some really strong partners on the base. It's actually awesome what they do. I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud of the relationship that we have. And then, like I mentioned, I'll brag a little bit about our community support, and then just like to wrap it up with our overall strategic impact, i.e. what March does in the way of defending the nation. So really big picture. Next slide, please. So here we are. It's funny because shortly after I arrived at March, so I've been here since August of 2017. And as we moved into 2018, it was our 100-year anniversary. So now we're 103 years old, which is amazing in itself. And like I mentioned, many of you all are probably very familiar. The base has undergone a bunch of changes over the years, but it started back in 1918. It was actually one of the developers of the Mission Inn made an appeal to the Army War Department back in 1918 and said, hey, we have some awesome land out here. We've got some great weather in Southern California. We think you should invest in a flying training field. And so we began way back then as Alessandro Training Field. It was just a large base to train pilots. We've morphed over the years. For a long time, we were March Air Force Base. And then unfortunately, when the base realignment and closure committee came through, they decided to close what we knew as March Air Force Base and turn us into March Air Reserve Base. So we'll talk about that a little bit as we go through the slides. But select alumni that have served at March, you all probably recognize some of those names from your history books, or if you're history buffs, you know the campaigns that they've flown in. Many of them either served as just instructor pilots or the commander of the base. The one I like to brag about most specifically, because I'm very humbled and honored to follow in his footsteps. He was Lieutenant Colonel Henry Hap Arnold at the time, and he served as the base commander of March from 1931 to 1935. To date, he is still the only 5-star general in the Air Force. So it's a proud, proud history at March. Slide, please. Here's our leadership. Like I mentioned, I'm the commander of the 452nd Air Mobility Wing and also the installation commander overall of the base. I do have a full-time vice wing commander. He also lives in Murrieta. It's an unusual thing at an Air Reserve base to have a full-time vice. He's actually a regular Air Force active duty person. So the regular Air Force decided that the mission we do at March is so big and so busy and so important that it was a developmental opportunity to send one of their 06s, one of their colonels, to serve full-time at the base. And it's been a godsend to have Colonel Martin be by my side through everything we've been through in the last 2 years. 5 weeks after I took command was when, unfortunately, the F-16 crashed into the local area outside March. And then we were the first to receive the Wuhan evacuees when the president made the decision to evacuate United States citizens from China. And then obviously we've had our own COVID operations to get through. So having a full-time staff has been a wonderful thing. My command chief, so Chief Ortiz, is kind of my confidant. He's my partner in crime, if you will. He is also my primary advisor on all things enlisted. So he takes care of all of the enlisted business across the base. And just to put that in perspective, our wing is actually about 75% enlisted. So he has a very big job. He is also full-time. So again, at a normal Air Reserve base, the vice wing and the command chief are usually part-time positions. So they would have another job. The vice wing commander would be maybe an airline pilot. As a matter of fact, before Colonel Martin, Colonel McNamara, my previous vice wing commander, was a Southwest Airlines pilot and lived in South Carolina. So he would come out here to do his duty once a month. And same with the command chief position. Normally that's a part-time position as well. But again, Air Force Reserve Command made the decision because March is so busy and such big mission, but they gave me a full-time command chief. Again, I'm very, very grateful. Both have been wonderful partners in my command time here. Slide, please. So this is us, the 452nd Air Mobility Wing. Our primary aircraft we have right now, we own 14 KC-135s, and most of you all probably know that airplane as the big flying gas station. That's certainly how I knew it because I've been a strategic airlifter my whole life. And so I've received gas from the KC-135 many, many, many times. Here at March, however, that's not the only mission they do. They actually have a very, very important strategic mission. There are 2 airplanes that sit 24/7, 365 on alert. One of those airplanes supports the nuclear mission. So the the strategic nuclear mission that the United States has that includes bombers, submarines, and then the tankers to refuel the bombers. That's one of the missions that they sit alert for. And the other alert is in full-time support of our Homeland Defense mission. So very, very proud of what those tanker pilots do. They don't only fly around and give gas, they're on alert 24/7, 365 to protect the nation. And the C-17 on the right-hand side, we have 9 C-17s on the base. This is my airplane. I've been flying C-17s other than a brief staff tour since 2004. So it's been such a great airplane. I flew the C-141 prior to that, which most people now know only as the airplane that's in the museum. So the C-17 is a strategic airlifter. We haul things, people, supplies. We can fold up helicopters and put them in the back of the airplane. We take tanks, we take any kind of rolling stock vehicles wherever they need to go. And the mission is, no kidding, anywhere in the world that we need to transport anything into the whether it's combat operations or often it's just for humanitarian needs. I've flown a lot of missions in the C-17 in support of humanitarian operations after earthquakes or after hurricanes. It's pretty amazing how the C-17 can get wherever it needs to be. We can land the airplane in the dirt if needed, which is a pretty amazing thing. Great airplane. We put the Joint Deployment Center in the center there. So the Joint Deployment Center opened in early 2017, right before I came to the base. And it's through that Joint Deployment Center that we actually support our joint mission with our service partners. So we are tagged to primarily support the 1MEF out of Camp Pendleton, and any of their deployments that they need us to support through March, you'll see Southwest or Delta, a number of contract carriers that come in, land at the base, and then we process the Marines through the Joint Deployment Center. Unfortunately, we've had some challenging times in COVID. The facility is a wonderful facility, but we just can't pack Marines into it all on top of each other waiting on their airlift. So we're getting slowly back to normal and trying to figure out what that looks like to get through the deployment center. The USO has a large part in the support through the Joint Deployment Center. They've been wonderful to give donations of food. They'll sometimes fix hot meals. Again, this was in normal times. So we're slowly moving back to that. We also support all of the Army rotations that come in and out of the area. So anytime the Army is tagged to deploy, they have to go through the National Training Center first up at Fort Irwin. And anytime the Army needs to send their soldiers up to Fort Irwin, they come through our Joint Deployment Center. So we average about 110,000 folks, either Marines or soldiers, through the Joint Deployment Center every year. I just saw the statistics from last year, and it was actually up to 138,000. So it's a busy, busy place to get airlifts in and out of March for whatever the joint services need. Slide, please. Just some mission highlights. Again, going back through a little bit of our history, we didn't receive, I'm sorry, we were established as an air mobility wing back in 1994, and that was when C-141s were still there, so the predecessor to the C-17s. I briefly mentioned that in 1996, we transitioned from March Air Force Base to March Air Reserve Base. That was a decision, again, made by Congress to try to streamline and save money. And in actuality, when I look at what the BRAC has done overall, I've toured what the land of the old March Air Force Base used to look like. It was a pretty massive area of land that belonged to the base. So we're much smaller now footprint wise, but I would argue that we have just as much, probably way more mission than we ever did as March Air Force Base, in large part due to our tenant organizations that come to the base. And then honestly, the strategic location of March, we continue to pick up mission as we go along. And I actually have some exciting news to talk about when we get to the update part about that as well. In 2006, they had the wing transition from C-141s to C-17s. And that was also the year that our tenant unit, the 163rd Attack Wing, who's an Air National Guard wing on the base, received their MQ-9s. And then in 2007, the Air National Guard also established a permanent presence. So the reason we have F-16s on the base is because they support Operation Noble Eagle, which is the Homeland Defense mission 24/7, 365 from March as well. Slide, please. Here's some mission highlights of just different operations and humanitarian relief that we've been involved in. I like to brag that anytime you see anything on the news, so most recently we had to send some aid into India because of their terrible, terrible time during the pandemic recently. There is someone from March involved in anything worldwide operations at any given time. So whether that's a C-17 taking something in there, or whether that's just an individual who's deployed overseas who are involved in that operation, it's a pretty amazing thing. You can pretty much guarantee that if you see something on the news that the Department of Defense needs to go and support, we have someone from March involved in that operation. Slide, please. So here are partner units. Again, I am very, very proud of what they do, and I'm very proud of the relationship we have with them. I mentioned the 163rd Attack Wing. So they fly the MQ-9s, the unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, as most people know them. For a while, they had their combat mission stood down at March because they were actually building a schoolhouse. So they brought in an active duty schoolhouse to train MQ-9 pilots on the base. And when they had their combat mission stood down, what most people think, oh, well, then what did they do, right? They probably weren't very busy. The main mission that since I've been here, I've watched them and worked with them flying, has been through the state of California. So the governor can reach out and ask them to fly MQ-9s in support of anything that he needs at any point. And unfortunately, with the very, very active wildfire seasons we've had, the 163rd has been called on quite a bit to support CAL FIRE in those operations. It's amazing to me because when most airplanes have to land, when it's dark, they can't continue to fly in support of wildfire operations. That's exactly when the MQ-9s can take off. They map the fires overnight. So as the firefighters go back to reevaluate where they're going to need to put forces or supplies or resources, the MQ-9s continue to fly and live feed to CAL FIRE so that when everybody shows up in the morning to brief, they know exactly where they're going to make the most strategic impact in the wildfire. They've also been involved in a number of search and rescue operations. A couple times hikers have been lost and they've been called out to help find the hikers. And there was a little girl who wandered away from her home in Northern California. Again, they were able to aid in the search and rescue of those people who were lost. So it's not just the combat mission we see on TV, it's actually a pretty amazing capability for the state of California. We've talked about the F-16s on the right. So again, we've got two F-16s that sit alert on the base 24/7, 365 in support of Homeland Defense. And it's very classified what they're doing and the response times, but it's pretty much anywhere they need to be in the entire western half of the United States. They can get there within 5 to 10 minutes tops. So it is amazing to watch them practice all of that, or obviously respond if they need to do that. And in the center, the Air and Marine Operations Center is a Department of Homeland Security tenant that we have. It's a law enforcement activity, and they are in charge of monitoring all of the air and marine traffic across the United States. So when I came to March and I was first getting to know their mission, I thought they just were looking at the southwestern United States. Nope, in fact, they monitor all air and marine operations, and they're trained to recognize anything that is out of the normal flow of traffic. So if you all come on base, hopefully we can get you over there to see if they're welcoming visitors, to see the operations. It's a pretty amazing mission. And again, I'm happy to have them as a partner on the base. Slide, please. So here's our community slide. Again, I can't emphasize enough. I've been in the Air Force, actually today is 29 years since I graduated from the academy. So I've been in the Air Force for 29 years. I've been to a lot of bases, a lot of different bases. This is my first assignment west of the Mississippi, and I have never experienced the level of support at any base that I've been to like I have here at March. Obviously, you know, a lot of interest in what we're doing, and a lot of community support, either from just the communities surrounding the base immediately, or down here in Temecula and Murrieta area. I think certainly our partners at Camp Pendleton help, because the community is familiar with military families and is familiar with what we go through as military families. Many of my folks on the base, so on a normal day, we have about 8,000 people that report to the base, but on a drill weekend, it actually, the number doubles-ish, because many of my folks are part-time. So they are your local school teachers, they are nurses, they're police officers in our local surrounding community here. And then they come up to March to do their reserve duty, generally once a month and a couple weeks a year. So pretty amazing support from everyone around, all around, whether it's the base or where we live and work. They live and work. I work at March. Slide, please. So I'll close with this slide. I was asked to put this in here because I was briefing a community group one time, and one of the congressmen asked me, well, can you please explain to me how March impacts our overall Department of Defense and the national strategy for our defense? Can you explain that to me? So I went back, and the current national defense strategy was written in 2018. I expect with the administration change, we'll see a new version of the national defense strategy come out sometime soon. But I don't expect our impact and what March does for that strategy to change very much. So currently in the 2018 version, the #1 Department of Defense objective is Homeland Defense. And obviously we've talked several times about the F-16s, and then there also the KC-135s that support that. And then Department of Homeland Security with their Air Marine Operations Center on base. All of that falls under Homeland Defense. We also support the #2 DoD objective, which is through our Southern California Airlift Hub. So March Air Reserve Base is designated as more of a Southwest regional airlift hub. So if we were to need to get anything into the area because of a natural disaster, i.e. an earthquake, a large scale earthquake, or flooding perhaps, or you know, any kind of natural disaster, March is on the hook to receive whatever we need to get into this area of the United States. We had an opportunity to fulfill that during COVID, because as we deployed military members into local area hospitals, March was on the hook 24/7 through this whole pandemic to be able to receive whoever needed to come in and push them out into local area hospitals, and then also store any of their equipment, i.e. PPE or anything that they had traveled in or needed to be stored. So all of that happens at March. And then the #1 capability investment. So the #1 thing that the Department of Defense has identified as a need for resources and money is the nuclear enterprise. And obviously we support that with our KC-135s. So I think that's it. Next slide, please. Just wrapping it up. I'll take this opportunity to talk a little bit about just some current update stuff, and then I would love to open it up to questions, because I'm way more of a conversationalist than talking at everyone. So the exciting news that I mentioned is most recently the Secretary of the Air Force has decided to look at 5 different bases within the Air Force Reserve Command to possibly, or hopefully, place the next round of KC-46s. And March is in the top 5. So we will be hosting a team here at the end of June to come through and evaluate. And again, I'm very proud of what we have here, because much of what they're evaluating is the support we receive from the community, i.e. what do the schools look like? Do we have, you know, daycare facilities for the families? And then on top of it, they will look at what our infrastructure looks like on the base. So very excited about that opportunity. We're going to do our best to put our best foot forward and show them that we should be the #1 choice, hopefully, to receive the KC-46. But I'm very happy that we even have the opportunity to be looked at. Unfortunately, I don't know who or how many, Patrick, you may know this, but my time at March is ending on 30 June. So I will be transitioning out. I'm very, very excited. I'm going to a new assignment in Colorado Springs to work at NORAD Northcom. So get to see things from the other side. My family is actually staying here. My husband and my daughter are staying here because she's going to be a senior at Great Oak. So I will be back. I keep telling everyone I'll be back to visit. And when I come back, I won't be the March commander. So maybe I can actually enjoy myself and have some fun with you guys when I come back. But they'll be here while I'm in Colorado, and I'll definitely be back to visit. In the meantime, the new wing commander has been identified. He's actually coming in from the East Coast. Colonel Greg Haynes will take command probably sometime in July, early August. So really looking forward to getting him out here and getting him to know all of you guys. He's going to have a great team. I keep telling him that. Other things going on at March, we continue to do our nuclear exercises in preparation. We have a major inspection coming up next spring. And between now and that, we have a major deployment cycle. So a lot of our operations folks and a lot of our maintainers will be deploying later on this summer. And one more exciting thing I'll throw out so you guys can mark your calendars is we have the go-ahead to continue planning the air show. So unfortunately, last year when we canceled, we're going to hopefully take that awesome plan that we had in place to execute an air show last year and just pick it up and put it into May 15th and 16th of 2022. So more to follow on that. But I saw some notes this week. The team is back in action to get that all planned. And hopefully I'll be back. I'd love to come back. All right. I'm done talking. Love to have questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I learned a lot. I am not a California native, so there's a lot that I didn't know about March, and I am pretty impressed, you could say, with all the stuff that's going on there. And I'm very excited for potentially touring up there soon when we're able and allowed. So if we have any questions, like she said, she would love to hear them. I did get, oh, Patrick, go ahead.
I want to jump in. First, I want to thank you for your presentation and for your time here. Yes, we were very, very, very bummed that you were going to be leaving. I did not know about your husband and daughter staying behind, though. That's exciting for us because then there will be a connection. So we'll hopefully get you back at some point then. I do want to kind of one of the things that I wanted to say, and you had it on your slide when it was the community slide, for those who were in the Riverside area near March, they all know the impact of a few people that have made that connection to the base. So you know, such a critical part to that community aspect to it. And you know, two of the ones that I'll mention, because if I don't, I'm sure I'll hear about it, but is Jamil Dada and Cindy Roth. I think that those two individuals have done such an unbelievable job over the years of connecting the community to the base for so long. And obviously with my connection with both of them, we're trying to, you know, do what we can to kind of extend that down here to Southwest Riverside County. Because I do think it's very important. And obviously we're trying to do the same with Pendleton as well. And we have so many people, you know, as you're the perfect example, that live here in this area, but are going to one of the two bases. And so having that connection is critical. But, you know, thank you to Jamil and Cindy and having that foresight, you know, years and years ago to make sure that connection to community is very critical. And we have a lot of things going on down here that we're excited about. But thank you again for your time. Thank you for what you've done. And we will miss you, but hopefully we'll have you back soon. So I know it wasn't a question, but.
Well, I appreciate it.
That's okay, Patrick. We forgive you. Yeah, and I think you said everything that I was thinking as well. With we're just so excited to have you join us in this meeting, and I know we are going to miss you when you're gone, and hopefully we can have some fun if you come back to visit. So I think that would be great. So definitely let us know whether you swing by our office or shoot us an email or something when you come back into town. We would love to see you. I did get a couple of questions sent to me on the chat that I took down. One of them you kind of answered about the how many service members are there on a full-time basis versus the ones that come to drill, and that was about 16,000, if I got that correctly.
Well, so just I can only really speak for within my wing. So let me think. When we are full up, we have about 4,000 people in the wing, and maybe half of those are full-time. So the rest of the base, like the guard, I'm not sure how many guards and then they have drilling in there. Yeah, I don't know that number.
Got it. Okay. Also a question about the land that got separated from the base. So is that still owned by the federal government, or how does that work?
So it's interesting what they did. I don't know the rhyme really or the reason, and it happened so long ago. There are different parcels of land. Some of them we do still own, the federal government does still own, but much of the immediate surrounding land has been turned over to March Joint Powers Authority, and they have taken that on for economic development. So that is why if you've driven by March lately, you've probably seen new businesses or warehouses popping up, in the surrounding area of the community.
Also, can you expand on the Operation Noble Eagle?
I can a little bit. So it's just an operation that, again, we have fighters that sit alert, and anytime anything threatens our borders, if you will. So if they get a notification of anything that threatens the border of the United States, then the fighters are launched to go out and investigate and see. Sometimes it's an honest mistake. Sometimes it's maybe a lost fishing boat, or an honest mistake of some kind, but they get sent to make sure that everything remains on the up and up and that we are safe on our borders.
Got it. Thanks. Does anybody else have questions? Miguel?
Yeah, I just have a comment. I've heard about you from a former neighbor of mine. I think you might know him, Major Victor Stafford.
Oh, yes. Vic was my exec.
Yes, and he spoke very highly of you. And so I think that, being able to see what you've been able to do in terms of leading these crazy missions at a base, honestly, I didn't know half of this stuff until Vic talked. I wouldn't have known half of what you were talking about if I hadn't, had so, his kids and my kids played. So, but it's amazing. And, I really just, as a neighbor of the base, we really appreciate what you've done for our community and for our neighbors who work for you and work there. I mean, it's, and my dad was an airman. Yeah, I know, right? 1960 or 1958 to 1966.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Right.
So, yeah. So, a little bit of pride.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Miguel.
Yeah, I have a quick comment too. I just wanted to thank you for a great presentation and for all you do. And they're super lucky to have you. Actually, Chief Master Sergeant Octavio Ortiz is my cousin. Well, he's married to my cousin. So I know they're grateful to have you. So just tell him I said hi, please. And I wish you all the best on your journeys.
Thank you so much. I will. Chief and I have been spending some long hours together this week. We've had some things that we've had to work through. I don't know what I told him last night. So I don't know what I would do without you.
He's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
You're both
he
lucky
really
to have
is.
each other.
And so is
Awesome team.
Dawn.
Yes, she's phenomenal. I love her to death. Thank you.
I'm loving these personal connections. See, it's a small world over here.
Right.
Other than that, I just had a couple of comments that I kind of jotted down as you were presenting. I love what you said about the community support. It's very true, as witnessed by our, so many nonprofits in the region that help, whether it's veterans or other populations that need help from the community. There's, wherever you look, there's help, and that's such a big part of our mission or our goals in the MAC, is to make sure that everyone that wants help and needs any kind of assistance or resources knows where to go for those. So thank you for taking note of that. And other than that, I think I didn't have any other questions sent to me, but if anybody has any final comments before we move on, just thank you again for being here. We really do appreciate it. And obviously you will be missed.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me. This was a great way to see you guys again. And hopefully, like I said, when I come back into town, we live 5 minutes from Pechanga. So hopefully that's going to be all back to normal. We can go over there and have a nice dinner. I'm totally in.
Sounds like a plan to me. I mean, thank you again. I do see that Mike jumped on here. So this is the first time I see him since he had the baby. So hi, Mike. Welcome.
Hello. Brigadier General Coburn, it's great to have you. Thank you so much. I'm going to make this super brief because Fox just fell asleep. His eyes are opening. But I want to thank you here. I'll see if I can get him on camera real quick.
Yes, congratulations.
Get him live.
Thank you. We go to none. There it is.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So there he is. He's
he's beautiful.
Thank you so
cheeks,
much.
The hair. And the hair, that's great hair.
He's a month old this weekend actually. So, and he actually came out with this much hair. It's insane.
That's awesome. So what's his birthday?
4/29/21.
Okay, because my son was born on May 3rd. It's a great time of year to have a baby because you can go outside. Well, Southern California, I guess you can have. We were in New Jersey, so I was like, oh, it's spring. We can take walks, and he's beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're so proud, and it's been fun. We've been when we can, we've been trying to get him down to like the park or into downtown Murrieta. And like most babies, he loves car rides. So it's been really, really fun sharing life with our new little life. So. This was one of those things though. He was being very vocal. He had a lot to say. He is his father's son for sure at the beginning of this, but I wanted to make sure I was here to show my love and support. So thank you again. And this is Fox Miles Monroe.
Yay! Thank you for sharing him with us. Oh my goodness. I was just saying before you jumped on, Mike, that we were so excited to see you again and get to see and meet Fox when you guys are ready. And so we're very excited to see him. I'm glad he's sleeping now.
You should go get some sleep while you can.
Yeah. I think he's on duty. His wife is probably asleep. I hope so, at least. All right, so I just wanted to open it up for anyone if anyone needs any resources. Is there anything going on that you want to share with us? Updates, events, anything like that? Please just go ahead, unmute yourselves and share with us.
This is Anne. Tonight is the first Veteran Beer Club We are meeting back again. We are meeting at Relentless Brewery tonight. It's 6 p.m. So any veteran, any active duty, the idea of the group is to bring employers and separating members together for employment. But it also has worked great for networking and just meeting veteran friends in the area too. And we have like Homeland Security. We have a bunch of people that show up. So it's really fun.
Love it. Thanks, Anne. That's tonight at Relentless at 6.
Yep. Relentless in Temecula.
Awesome. Thanks. Anybody else that wants to share anything that's going on? Miguel?
Yeah, with MSJC returning to the campus, it looks like we're scheduled, Brandon University scheduled to open in Menifee, around July 7th. We should all be back in the office sometime by August. And I know that it's public knowledge, but we are changing our partnership from Chapman University to the University of Massachusetts system. They sought us out to develop a relationship with us for our non-traditional and online programming. And so that you can find on our website more information about that. And we are just waiting for final approval from the U.S. Department of Education. And so that is, that strategic partnership is in full bloom. So we're looking forward to that happening.
Congratulations on that. Mike?
Awesome. Thank you. I was reaching for the reaction button. One of the things you learn quickly as a father is you got to do a lot of things with one hand. I wanted to bring up Veterans Business Action Committee is meeting next month, the second Thursday of the month. It's always at 10 a.m. It is a stellar opportunity to get good information, both with business, entrepreneur stuff, and then they're very, very, very successful in the government contracting space. But most importantly, it's a great opportunity for veterans business owners to network with veteran business owners. So if you'd like more information, feel free to reach out to myself or Hilder. But again, that's always the second Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. And it's really easy to remember because it's right after the networking breakfast. So join us for both. Thank you, Hilder.
Thank you for remembering that, Mike. I did not, so.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's why there's two of us, so we can remember what the other one forgets. Other than that, there is
I've got a couple. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a couple actually fun events. So this Friday in Marietta, Patriotic Dog Bakery is having a grand opening. They are veteran owned and they support military in the communities, but it's going to be a big fun thing. They're going to have the Marietta Police Canine Department there, the Menifee Police Canines, Animal Friends of the Valley will be there doing oh my gosh, I can't even think of the word. They're going to have animals there. They're going to have the canine sport teams. 101.3, the mix is going to be there between 1 and 3. They'll have free photos with your fur babies. So if you guys have dogs you want to bring in, you can go in there. It doesn't cost anything. So it's just going to be a really fun event from 12 to 6, and that's Patriotic. And then also on June 11th is the JAGS Golf Tournament. They support veteran organizations in the community. And then we're doing a military care packing on the 10th, but there's limited space. But if you are interested, then please reach out to me. And then we're also doing a barbecue for veterans. It's kind of like a informal connection that's going to be catered by Dickie's Barbecue in Menifee on June 13th. So you can see those flyers or get more information on our website at milvet.org, MILVET, or you can contact me at ceo@milvet.org.
I have a few updates for the group as well.
Yes, go ahead.
So upcoming is the Bob Hope USO. Will be providing troops with Girl Scout cookies on base on June 3rd. And also some good news for us. the Team March Military Ball will be in person again this year and has been scheduled for November 6th. And also the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force is planning on visiting March in the near future. And as General Coburn mentioned, the air show will be scheduled for next year, May 14th and 15th. So we're really excited about everything that's coming up.
Wonderful. That is exciting. I definitely wrote down those dates for the air show, and and let us know when the, I'm sorry, what is his title? The Air Force Commander? Sorry.
Chief of the Air Force.
Sorry. The Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force.
Chief Master Sergeant. I'm sorry, the titles are different than Navy, which I'm used to, so I'm very confused.
And she will be visiting.
She will be, yes.
She will be visiting.
She.
Awesome. Yeah, so let us know. We'll be there for you. No, just kidding. Anyway, so I just wanted to touch very briefly on, so we are also a part of the San Diego Veterans Coalition E3 Action Committee, which focuses on employment, entrepreneurship, and education. And we try to network with them to see what our needs are in the region. And one thing that is kind of trending right now is, as is probably all around the nation, is workforce and getting people to work, and how to reach people with job opportunities. So if you guys have either people that are looking for work, veterans or military spouses, you can always send them to us. We have different avenues for them to go through. Specifically, we are working a lot with the Military Spouse Fellowship Program and the Skill Bridge program. So we have people to refer them to. Similarly, if you do have employers that are looking to hire, we would love to connect with them to be able to try to get some veterans and military spouses out there to work. So please let us know if you have anything like that, if you hear about them, if you have any awesome resources for them. We also are always looking to collaborate and convene more resources here in the region. So that's all I got. Mike, any final notes?
I have one question, Sam.
Yeah.
The resources, if you are able to send Michelle where to refer people to so they can go to you, then we can put that out on our military spouse page.
Wonderful. Thank you. That would be great. I'm going to write that on a sticky note. Mike?
Nothing more for me.
All right.
I appreciate you all, and I look forward to seeing you all again next month. And I was gonna make Fox wave, but he's definitely sleeping, and I'm gonna keep it that way. Thank you again.
Take care.
You for dropping in, Mike. He's technically not supposed to. He's on paternity leave. All right, guys. I think we'll call it. And it's 12:57, so we definitely kept it to an hour, which is always good. We want to be cognizant of you guys' time. So thank you guys so much for continuing to support the local MAC, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Although we are sorry to see you go, General Coburn, and we're gonna miss you, and we wish you the best in your next mission.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.